The cultural and sexual stereotyping of Asian women has resulted in a tragedy that many saw as inevitable. I'm Yoonj Kim, and this is MTV News Need to Know. On Tuesday, a deadly attack on 3 Asian-owned massage parlors in the Atlanta area left 8 people dead, 6 of whom were Asian women. A white woman and man were also killed. At the time of this report, we know the names of 6 of the victims, whose ages reportedly ranged from the 30s to 70s. Julie Park, Hyunjung Park, Delana Ashley Youn, Paul Andre Michaels, Xiao Ji Yan, and Dao Yu Feng. And on Wednesday, Georgia police said that suspect Robert Aaron Long denies it was racially motivated.
He apparently has an issue, what he considers a sex addiction, and sees these locations as something that allows him to go to these places, and it's a temptation for him that he wanted to eliminate.
But as we still learn more about the incident, it's difficult to believe that race wasn't a factor. Because by the police's own logic, he targeted only Asian-run massage parlors. The intersections of racism, sexism, and classism are inextricably part of the story. A local Korean journalist, Hwang Ji-yoon, reported that a witness heard the suspect say that he would kill all Asians. But as of this morning, the police have only shed light on the perspective of the perpetrator. As author Michelle Kim tweeted, "This is more than just anti-Asian hate. This is also about fetishization, misogyny, exploitation, sexual violence, poverty, colonialism, erasure, all of it." The alleged fetishization of the murder victims by the suspect is tragically in line with the ongoing anti-Asian hate crime epidemic. There's been a 150% increase in anti-Asian hate crimes in America this past year, the majority targeting women. This shouldn't be a surprise, given the rhetoric by the former president spewing dangerous falsehoods about Asians and Asian Americans, coupled with the hypersexualization of Asian women. All of it is harmful, and even offhanded commentary needs to be taken seriously. It's literally a matter of life and death. Actress Ashley Park posted an emotional video on Instagram.
This racism starts at a very small level. It starts with things that you say. It starts when someone calls a virus that shut down the whole world the Kung Flu virus. But it also starts when you roll your eyes or make fun of the Asian waiters and Chinese delivery food people and the nail artists.
This targeting of Asian women is not new. In fact, Asian women were the target of America's first restrictive federal immigration law called the Page Act of 1875, which virtually shut out Chinese women from being allowed into the country under suspicion that they would become quote-unquote prostitutes. The act hardened the policing of sex work and formalized a pervasive stereotype that all Asian women are in fact sex workers. The same thing has been assumed about the victims in Georgia who worked the front desk, as a manager and as masseuse. After Tuesday's shootings, the sex work advocacy group Red Canary Song tweeted, "These deaths somehow mean more because of the rise in anti-Asian violence related to COVID-19, but no mention of how they're connected to the long policing of Asian sex work." Take, for example, the still unresolved death of Yang Song in 2017. She was a Chinese masseuse and alleged sex worker at a massage parlor in Flushing, Queens, who was assaulted by a police officer and later fell 4 stories to her death in a suspicious sting operation. To this day, no one has been held accountable. Her family doesn't have answers, and her death, swept under the rug in the name of combating criminal behavior, is reminiscent of the dismissive spin that Georgia police are taking against the parlor victims, suggesting the assailants' actions were the result of a bad day, rather than condemning hate crimes against vulnerable communities. And even after such a horrific tragedy, Twitter users made light of the murders with racist jokes. Actress Lillian Bowden responded to these by tweeting, "We know where this anti-Asian hate speech comes from. We see how it's weaponized, how it goes from jokes to attacks to mass shootings. The people who've laughed at or shared or allowed these racist jokes or slurs all contribute to this kind of violence." Stereotypical comments about Asians are all too commonly dismissed, even in mainstream conversation, despite the direct link between anti-Asian rhetoric and violence. These remarks come on the heels of high-profile figures and companies dismissing trivializing comments made about Asian people's appearance. Earlier this month, Sharon Osbourne was reported to have made racist jokes about her co-host Julie Chen's looks. Condé Nast hired a journalist who tweeted about swollen Asian eyes as a teenager as head of Teen Vogue. Both are battling calls for resignation. This could be a cultural tipping point. News outlets are finally starting to report on the uptick in anti-Asian crimes, but the community has been warning us about this inevitable attack for a long time. Any murder is tragic enough, but the murders that we are not shocked about are especially painful because that means we as a society are complicit. I'm Yoonj Kim, and that's what you need to know.